Hello everyone, welcome to CLJ, the Judgment series. In this session, we will be discussing a very landmark judgment delivered by Calcutta High Court in reference the Kandoli Tea Company Limited. This judgment was delivered by Calcutta High Court in 1886 and is the first judgment in India which talked about the concept of a company being a separate legal entity. As you all know, this channel is created to impart legal education in a simple and lucid manner. Before we move forward, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to get further updates. The facts of the case are: a certain tea estate was transferred to a company by a group of 8 individuals who were the only shareholders of the company. The consideration for this exchange was £43,320 and it was payable in share and debentures of the company taken at par. However, the shareholders refused to pay the ad valorem duty payable on every conveyance on such transfer of property. The shareholders' reason for not paying the tax was that since they were the only shareholders of the company, the transfer of the property was from them to themselves under another name. The issue in this case was whether the document carrying out a particular transfer is a conveyance within the meaning of the definition contained in Clause 9 of Section 3 of the Stamp Act and within the meaning of Article 21 of Schedule 1 of the same. Conveyance is defined as a conveyance on sale every instrument by which property, whether movable or immovable, is transferred inter vivos and which is not otherwise specifically provided for by Schedule 1. The reasoning given by the court is that whoever the shareholders in the Kandoli Tea Company Limited were, the Kandoli Tea Company Limited was a separate person, a separate body, and a conveyance to the Kandoli Tea Company Limited. Property of the company was the property of the shares in their individual capacity, which was just as much a conveyance, a transfer of the property, as if the shareholders in the company had been totally different persons. The Kandoli Tea Company Limited is a separate body, although conveying parties here were the shareholders of the company. There was just as much a sale and transfer of the property and a change of ownership as there would have been if the shareholders had been different persons. Therefore, the conclusion was that the Calcutta High Court held that the Kandoli Tea Company Limited was a separate legal entity and therefore ordered the shareholders to pay ad valorem duty on the said transfer of property from them to the company. The jurisprudence in this case is that of a juristic personality. The law has ascribed a personality to the association of human beings, one that is exclusively for them and totally distinct from each of the members of the association. This personality is called juristic personality or corporate personality, and it can be traced to the common law principles, and in India it is enshrined in Section 9 of Companies Act 2013. The independent corporate personality of a company makes it the owner of its asset and bearer of its liabilities, which is the very essence of a juristic personality. Identifiable persona means the name through which the corporation is known. The name of the corporation serves as a legal liable person who carries out the business activities. The persons involved in the corporation are known by the name of that corporation. The name is the intangible asset of the corporation, such as franchisee, monopoly rights, reputation, image brand, etc. These intangible assets are the valuable source of corporations. This persona is used in all contracts and a corporation can sue and be sued in this name. One of the most prominent cases in the history of corporate law through which the concept of a separate legal entity was evolved is Salomon versus A. Salomon Company Limited in 1897. In this case, the House of Lords unanimously held that the corporation is a separate legal entity. The basic principle established by the court of law and now embodied in company law across the world is that a company after its formation becomes a separate legal entity and it can appoint the owner or any other person to deal with the business of the company, but they are considered as the agents of the company and are considered to be separate from the company. Salomon's case is usually regarded as a landmark judgment which finally established the fundamental principle that a company is a separate legal entity distinct from its members. This core principle of company law has come to be so closely associated with the case that it is widely known as the principle in Salomon's case. According to this widely accepted narrative, Solomon's case represented an overdue but inevitable advance of the law towards clarifying the separate nature of the relationship of shareholders and their company. The separate legal entity of a company is a term used to denote the fact that the identity of a company is distinct from that of the members who constitute it. This is by virtue of the fact that once a company is incorporated, the law imputes a legal fiction upon a company and it attains an artificial personality distinct from that of the ones who constitute it. Therefore, the rights and responsibilities that flow from this are also distinct. Similarly, in the case of Lee versus Lee's Air Farming Company Limited, the court held that an act by the member of a company in discharge of his functions towards the company must be considered as an act of the company because the person acting on behalf of the company is always considered as an agent and all his acts are considered as committed by the company itself. The theory of separate legal entity is indeed a basic principle on which the whole law of corporations is based. The lifting of corporate veil is a doctrine which is used all over the world to identify the real person behind the veil who has committed the fraud in the name of the company. To be precise, where a false and deceptive use is made of the legal entity, the people concerned would be permitted to take shield behind the corporate identity. In this respect, the court will get through the corporate shell and apply the standard of what is known as lifting of the corporate veil. The doctrine of corporate veil has been divided into two theories: alter ego theory, instrumentality theory. Alter ego theory states that there is an existence of a thin line between the company and its shareholders, while on the other hand, the instrumentality theory is to examine the method in which the owners are using the company for their own benefits instead of the company's benefit. Many a times, court is hesitant to remove the veil, hence it is only done when there is a strong need to reach the appropriate result. The court has the power to decide which of the following theory should be applied according to the facts of the case. So, from the above discussion, it is concluded that a corporation is a separate legal person, separate from its members, and a firm, after its proper incorporation through corporate law, acquires a juridical status. A company can run its business through its authorized representatives and agents, and all the transactions made by such members of the company will be considered to be the transaction of the company. The corporation can sell a property owned by it and can also buy any kind of property. The corporation has contractual capacity and it can enter into the contract with any person, even with its own employees and shareholders. If any of the terms in the contract are violated by either party, both the parties have the right to approach the court. So the corporation can sue and be sued. Thank you.